Hello everybody, Bets Golden here. Today I thought it would be fun to make a really cool shadow box with the Magical Theater ebook download by Rita, and I'm going to have the link for you down in the description box below. I printed up, basically it's a book about fairies and how to make really cool shadow boxes or play boxes with little fairies in them. And so I'm going to make a shadow box today, and I'm going to incorporate a couple different things. And in the book, she has a whole bunch of downloads that you can use for your art. Some of it she did, and then some of it she lets you do. So I'm going to incorporate all of that. And this is the image I'm going to use. I love these mushrooms. I thought it'd be cute to do a garden theme. And then I'm going to take on my scan and cut these images out, this one, and then this one. This is the fairy that I'm going to use. I think this actually was the ballerina, but I'm going to use it as a fairy because I think she's going to be a cool fairy. I don't remember. You can mix and match. And then there's some elements that you can color your own. So I'm going to color some of these, and I'm going to pop them onto my shadow box in a different, like, make it 3D. I'll show you how I'm going to do that in a moment. And then I also printed off some do-it-yourselfers. So I'm going to do this one, and then I printed off to do it on this one right here. So I have a couple elements I'm going to pull in. I will tell you what those are about as soon as I start. But the first thing I want to do is show you the shadow box that I found, which is this shadow box. I found it at Hobby Lobby. I got it. I used my coupon on it, so I think I paid $6 for it. It's going to be absolutely perfect. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim down this image and pop it in the back. Now, as you can tell, it's a little bit too large, and there's going to be leftover space on the bottom, but that's okay because I can color in some mushrooms in a different color from this sheet and pop it down in the front. And when I do that, I'll be able to lay out my fairies and some other things that I have going on in there. I'm also going to add some grass and some things like that. This paper, Canon matte photo paper. It's heavy duty and it makes the colors really, really vibrant. I also use an Epson ink tank printer. It's the E2600. It's going to fit about perfect in my shadow box. Okay, so I'm going to be using, to adhere this, Multi-Grab 360 Super Tight Glue. Again, all of the links for everything I'm using are in the description box below. I'd appreciate it if you guys use those links because they are my affiliated links and it helps the company know, where they're getting their sales from, and it also gives me a little bit of a kickback. And so I'd appreciate it, so I can buy more glue. But this is the Super Tight Multi-Grab 360. It works on pretty much everything. I'm going to use it to adhere this to the shadow box because I am going to smear it around just a bit so that it will have a nice adhesive on it. So I really want to get those edges, and I need a very good covering, so I am being exceptionally generous right now with my glue. And again, this is the Super Tight 360. Okay. So I'm going to take my box now. I don't even know if it matters what side it is. And I'm going to just start at the bottom and just slide, not at the bottom, but not towards the top, and then just kind of slide it up because I want that glue to kind of get everywhere. And then I'm just going to move it into the right place. I like this because you have a couple minutes to move it around, but once it's dry, it is dry. Okay. And there we go. So I just used the scraps of something that I had. I never throw away my Rainier foil paper. I will use it, the little bits and pieces I'll actually cut up into confetti and use it in shakers and things. I love this stuff. To create grass, I'm just gonna go in and cut some strips towards the bottom. They're not all going to be even. That's totally fine. And then let me adhere it to the bottom right here. And we will get ready to put on our next layer. Again, I'm just going to use that same super tight multi-purpose 360 glue. And while that sets up, I have to do it the other way because I'm left-handed. Well, this sets up, I'm going to go ahead and start coloring in my images and using my scan and cut to cut them out, and I'll be back to assemble everything with you. So I'm back. I let everything dry overnight. Let me show you what I did. I went ahead and constructed this beautiful fairy. She's super duper tall. I want to say she's about 10 inches tall, and I thought was going to go on the inside of my box, but I'm actually going to put her on the edge of the box. I think it's going to be really cool. I added some stickles to her beautiful wings. I didn't use the full dress. I used it more as a skirt, and then I added underneath here a band of ribbon as a belt, and I fussy cut everything out and added some bling and have her holding a flower. Then I put a little bling in her hair, and I used stickles. This one is a butterfly fairy human. She's kind of a creature that I created. Same type principle. I just, the wings I actually designed on the inside. Rita had provided a blank canvas basically, and so this is what I came up with on the blank canvas. And then I used a Lisa Kettle little head, and I'm going to attach that to the body. She's going to be flying around the garden. And then I created this butterfly also. This is Rita's design. She designed the whole thing. I layered, there were actually 2 butterflies. I added some stickles, spread it out with my fingertips, and then I layered them on top of one another, adding some bling in the middle and only adhering the center, pulling up both sets of leaves, and then wrapping the outer set around a pencil to give it some dimension. I went ahead and fussy cut out the mushrooms, colored them in. I used coloring pencils on everything for this. All of this is done coloring pencils. This is entirely Rita's design, and I simply maneuvered the little doll to my liking, to this, how I wanted her to be. But she colored that, she colored this and these, and then the background. But I did these and this. And she drew everything, of course. So I added some stickles. I also added, with this one, I forgot to tell you, I created it and then I went through with a Sharpie and I colored in the black, and I went over it with white. And the white that I used was one of these Jelly Roll pins. I really like it. It did awesome, and it just added highlights and things to areas. And I by no means am a professional colorer, so I just kind of winged it all. These, of course, are the mushrooms. I fussy cut them out. As you can see here, there's this spot. I'm going to cover that, camouflage it with maybe, you know, the butterfly, or I might camouflage it with one of these pictures. These three little critters, I might add in, and I cut out three pictures of my kids. They're older pictures. They're kind of goofy. This is my oldest dressed up, and my youngest with some chocolate chips with a little devious look on his face, and then my daughter doing what she likes to do, which is drinking coffee and reading a book. That's a book right there. So I just got I wanted to make it really fun and something I can display in my house and kind of look at and smile. Now, for these, this is an interesting thing I did. I did the same concept with the foil paper, the Serenia foil paper, to make the grass. But I went ahead and adhered this to a ruler piece. This is actually Tim Holtz ruler piece. I got them on sale for $1.75, and there's 6 of them. And these are actually going to provide some stability in my shadow box. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to do this in layers. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I need to do is I need to, with these two pieces, I need to fold right here. So it's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay this here because I just need to, I want to just take and fold up the bottom. And I'm actually going to use, and I only have to do this on 2. He's going to go directly on the backing with some little pop dots. But for these guys, I need them to be folded because they're going to stand up, and I'm going to use one of these to hold each of them in place as well, just for a little bit more stability. Okay, so I'm going to put my fairy on last, the big fairy, and she's going to go off on one of these sides. I'm thinking probably on this side. So what I need to do first is I need to adhere my oldest son. I'm going to work in phases. So I'm going to put in the back him, and then the next one will have this picture. Even though he's my youngest, the picture is bigger than my daughter, and so he'll go over here, and then my daughter will go towards the front because she's has the smaller picture. So this one, I put the mushroom towards the center of this piece, and then I'm going to run some wood glue around the bottom of it and attach it into my little box. So again, there's this piece, and that's what this is all looking like right now. And I'm going to lay this in. Alright guys, excuse my messy desk, but this was hard to do a tutorial on with the camera in one spot because I kept having to flip the box. So what I did was I went ahead and I just put it all together, and I'll explain how it came together. So I ended up using my little Lisa Cattell designs, the little rabbit, the owl, and the duck, the deer popping out. That is just a deer head, but I kind of wanted to make it look like a little deer popping out behind the mushroom. And then I finished off my fairy girl with a pretty little head. And then over here, I did the little bear head in the corner. I had forgotten about that gorgeous butterfly that I altered. That's by Rita. And so I put that off to the side. On the edges, I just ran some floral ribbon that I had, some little rosette ribbons that I had all around the edges. I just added a few dress-up little buttons that I had from my stash that were actually fairy themed. And then in the flower, I put a flower off in the corner because there was some dead space there. I put one of the Rita little ladybugs in it. And then I put another one right there underneath the little tree. And as you can see, those are actually, these little guys are little buttons. So I just adhered those to the bottom. And I put things in around the layers. And then I have a little teeny tiny fairy right there. And then, of course, on this side, I have the very cool fairy that I had altered. So this is the entire box. I absolutely love it. It was so much fun. I felt like a kid in the candy store making this. It was just so much fun. I absolutely loved how it turned out. Whimsical. Used a lot of things from my stash. Again, I'm going to have everything I used in the link provided. I did use a couple different adhesives on this just because I need it to stand up over time, and I'm not going to have it in a case. So I did use the wood glue by Super Tight to adhere those pieces I told you about, the rulers that I had turned into grass with the Renia foil paper. So that's the wood glue. Sorry, it's not focused very well. All right, and then I used the foam adhesive for my Lisa Cattell little pieces. So I used this one for that. And then I used just the all-purpose universal glue for pretty much everything else. So I'm going to have some pictures of it all in the, as this rolls on, so you can get a better view of it. Sorry, my desk is just such a mess, but I wanted you guys to see what I ended up doing with this little shadow box. But there's 3 layers to it. And you just work layer by layer, and then you can go in and fill in those spots. I actually ended up used everything I had intended for it. So that's super cool. All right. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. You can find me on Instagram under Bets Golden and on Facebook as well as Twitter. And then check out my blog, Scrappy Cafe. I upload there sometimes as well. Excuse my voice, I'm coming off of a cold. But I couldn't wait to get this project done. I absolutely love it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give this a thumbs up. Feel free to share it with anybody you'd like. Make sure you check out the description box for those links to the products I used. Until next time, happy crafting.